Hello everyone. I'm back. I know I took a couple of weeks off there from doing paranormal investigations, and it's because I was sick, and but you know, I have improved. Things have got better. In the meantime, you know, I did want to get out, but this car actually was in the garage. Now, if you've seen a previous video, I bought a convertible Renault Megane from the Interballs for £450. Thing is, cheap cars don't often be cheap. What happened was, on the left front wheel, it started to rattle and that, and I thought it was a warped wheel, and we got the car in to get it balanced, and there turned out there was a small warp, but not enough to affect the car. So all the four wheels were balanced, and the wheel that had slight damage on it was put on the back, and on the way home everything was fine until I got about a mile from the house when the symptoms started again. So the next morning it was straight to the garage. Now it sat at the garage most of the weekend, and on Monday morning it went up on the lift, and the mechanic said there was a number of things wrong. One which was a ball joint, and the ball joint was replaced. The other thing was I wanted brake pads changed at the front. Thought the back ones were fine, but he said the back discs were completely shot, so there was new back discs put on, and there was also a bracket put on the exhaust, and a number of other little things. There was airbag light that stayed on, he fixed that. An indicator bulb, which is very, very hard to get in, that was changed as well, and all for a reasonable price. So you know, big massive thank you to Wesley, my mechanic, for fixing the car. It really is like a completely different car. While I was recuperating, I bought a few bits and pieces for the car, and you know, my plans are to find another one of these cars with the leather interior, and completely change over the leather interior into this car here, because this particular seat actually has a tear in it. But in the meantime, I decided I would give it some colour, and what we have here is some red seat covers. I know they're not people don't like seat belts, but I thought I would just go with a little bit of a theme here, and I put this steering cover, which is quite soft and nice, and what I temporarily done here was put a new stereo in, and outside I will show you that the discs here at the back were changed. So the car was also hoovered out, and I actually in the process of putting my new pedals in. The accelerator pedal was a completely different thing, so I'm going to have to figure out a way of mounting that properly. So I didn't actually put in the accelerator pedal. These here are put in with brackets, so that was easy enough. What I also got was these mats. Now, the reason why I got these is because it's got this lip here, so when you have your dirt, you know, coming in from your shoes, you can lift this out, and it's like a tray, and it, you know, it keeps most of the dirt from going on the carpet. But you know, it's got a little bit of colour there. I know it's not to everybody's taste and that, but yeah. And this here, people may ask what this here is. This hanging down What that actually is it all came from Japan. The drifters in Japan, and I'll close the door here. What the drifters in Japan used to do was they used to nick these rings from the subway. These are handles to hold on to in the subway, and they used to steal those, and they used to put them on the back toe part of the car, and if the bottom of the ring was touching the ground, they were low enough. I just have it in here as a little bit of a decoration, and actually I don't have a toe thing on the back of the car here. Yeah, when it comes to modifying cars, a lot of people go for the Japanese car and that, and because they're they're cars, because they came from Japan, and Japan has a big modifying scene, has a big racing scene, drifting scene and stuff like that. For Japanese cars, like the Nissan 180 and the Skyline, the Supra, the Celicas and stuff like that, modifying parts are really easy to get in comparison to some other makes of car. Now, the reason why I have this particular car, and it is actually quite personal, way back in 2008, I had a little small Megane coupe, and it was the 98 version, and it was the little, the little two-door little sports car, and it was my first newish car, and I paid for £4,500 for it from a Mercedes garage, and I had taken a redundancy, and I bought the car, and I started a new life, and after a while, I couldn't afford to run a car. I couldn't afford insurance, couldn't afford tax, couldn't afford anything. So the car was left sitting in the driveway for a while. Then there was a dispute. I don't want to go into it too much. There was a dispute between me and somebody else, and they actually stole my car, and the last thing I heard about it, it was in the crusher. It was in the scrapyard. The thing was, that car of mine, I was building it up to be a show car, and I had multi-spoke alloys on it. I had a stainless steel back box, which was about, I think it was 5 inches. It was about as wide as the ring here. It had underbody neons. It had a boom box in the boot, and it was the same colour as the car. The car was blue. And there was a lot of stuff done to it, and actually a lot of the work was done in Calhan's, which is a tuning shop down actually very close to here, who done the wheels and the exhaust and stuff like that, and done a fantastic job. And actually the local newspaper in Letterkenny, they used to do a segment every week about unusual cars, and they approached me about doing an article on my car. Now, I spent a lot of time and done a lot of work on this car, and even the engine bay was all shiny and everything. It had the K&N air filter going into it and everything, and lovely shiny. Everything was clean, and pretty impressed with the car. But after losing that car, I never had a car that actually could, take away the pain of actually losing that one. And this has actually done it. So it's a personal thing to me. And actually, I know it's not a done thing, but it's starting to come back. I actually bought underbody neons, but way back in 2008, there were long tubes, and they were neon. Now we have LEDs, and you've got this remote control, and you can change colours and stuff. And I actually have it in the back here. What we have in the kit is, first of all, you got your little remote control, and so much options there. You can make it brighter or dimming it down. You've got all them colours. You've got all those menus of different kinds of way it goes on and off. What you have then is a big lump of wire that goes under the car, and then you got 4 long strips, 2 short ones and 2 long ones. The 2 long ones go down the side, and the 2 short ones go front and back. And then there's a piece of wire that's just after falling down the side of the car. You got this wire here. This is for your positive and ground, and it is plugged into the control box right here. And that then is connected up to your battery. There is no inline fuse, but I bought an inline fuse, so definitely going to use that. But that is the underbody kit. The other thing I got, and I know I temporarily have put in this head unit here. What I'm going to do is, the reason why I have it in temporarily is because there's a CD interchanger underneath that, which makes it a double. I haven't got a key to actually take that one out. Taking out the head unit basically was 2 horseshoe shaped pieces of wire. You can actually buy keys for taking them out, but what we got here is this is the unit I bought. It's got a remote control as well, so I'm going to have a car full of remote control. That there is actually a reversing camera that you can connect up to it, and the unit itself is that there, and there's your sockets at the back. That actually is metal. I thought it was just plastic, but actually it is metal. But that's as far as it goes in. You got a little USB there, and up here you can have put it in a little card and stuff. It's going to be easy enough to install, because you know, once the top and bottom units are out, and that's going to fit in quite nicely. It doesn't come with screws that are, you know, that are used to mounted in, so we're going to have to work on what to do there, you know. But you know, I have a lot of subscribers that have subscribed to me for paranormal videos, and you know, I am getting back to it. You know, I have been sick for a while, and we're looking forward to going to places we actually have discovered. So you know, check out for those, and you know, we will be doing that. But we, you know, what we will be doing this weekend, because it's very, very popular on my channel, is the Donegal International Rally weekend. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock I am going to be at the scrutiny, which is and the registration of the rally cars for the rally weekend. And then Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Friday, going to be going around town looking for events and stuff, and looking for nice JDM cars and nice show cars. Now, last year and the year before, it was full of Lexus 200s. The reason why they're very popular is because of their drifting capabilities, and you know, very nice car. But what I'm looking for is show cars. I'm looking for the unusual, the Supras, the Skylines, the Celicas, the 180 SXs and stuff like that. Hoping that I am going to see some of those. Don't get me wrong, and don't give out to me. I have seen some very, very beautiful Lexuses last year. There was one particular one that was yellow and black, and it was absolutely spotless. There was another one with a custom marble type paint job on it. So hoping to see some of those. The location that it was last year is not going to be available this year. The Gardaí have clamped down on the behaviour that was around the petrol station last year. I can't 100% blame them, because after all, it is a place, it is a business premises. It's very, very hard to do business when there's so many people, and the crowd was kind of a little bit too much for premise. But maybe they will find a place that isn't disrupting business or whatever, and hopefully we find little pockets of that around Letterkenny, and we will see we will see nice stuff. Yes, there is alcohol sometimes involved. It's not a thing that I'm particularly comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with people that have too much to drink. They are in that kind of car culture. What happens is those kind of the drift cars and stuff like that all came from Japan. But in Japan, there is a no drinks policy. Everybody is very, very very, very controlled in what they do. They go out, they go to a place where they're not disrupting anybody. Some mountain roads out in Japan, they do their drifting and that, and then they all get together and celebrate their night event or whatever by going to an ice cream parlour and having ice cream. In our culture, it's alcohol, unfortunately, but we're going to go and we're going to see the cars, hopefully, and it's I'm really looking forward to it, because last year, and massive thanks to all the people that have viewed my videos from last year. I have one video there that's at this moment in time is heading for 17,000 views, and massive thanks. Just to be aware, I do get a lot of subscribers and that. Just be aware that this is a mixed channel, and there is a lot of paranormal. There is a lot of paranormal content, but I will be doing other content as well. What I'm trying to do is, I am going to try and do paranormal investigation every week. At times we were doing 2, but if we can do one good solid paranormal investigation, do it differently to anybody else, and then do other things as well. I just don't want to stick with one subject, and a lot of these YouTuber experts say, oh well, you should be putting that different content on a different channel. I don't want a different channel. I find it hard enough to do one channel. I just want one channel with all the different content in it. Yes, if I come up with a video with cars, you're not into cars, that's okay. We will be doing, something else will come along, another paranormal investigation or whatever. As far as the paranormal investigations are concerned, I'm working on the SLS camera. I still have to do a video when I have it fully all sorted out, how to connect. It's easy enough how to connect from your mains power to a battery pack, so you can carry your SLS camera to a different location. Now, I done it the heavy way, which was using a laptop. A lot of these cameras, they use a small little Windows tablet, and you know, you can make up brackets, or you can get brackets off the internet which you can put it all together, so you have something you can carry around and it's all in the one package. Mine is mounted on a tripod and stuff like that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make different. We're trying to make investigating different. I know I don't want to be following a trend, you know, people doing the same thing all over and over again. At the end of the day, when you think about it, we're all doing the same. If we're all doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results, how do we move forward from this? You know, and yeah, you know, when you're paranormal investigating and that, it's good to try and think outside the box, and that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. You know, check out my new merch. I'm only joking. This is a very class jacket. It's a Renault Formula E jacket. Actually, I'm going to take the camera out of the car and put it on the bonnet here, and I will show you exactly what the jacket looks like. Yeah, this is a Formula E jacket. I just thought I would get that when I was getting my other bits and pieces and that, you know. But that's what the car turned out, and is starting to get there, you know. I've tried to do other heavy bits and pieces of work. I'm not able to manage it, so that's why the mechanic had to get involved, you know. One thing I really like is the back end of this car, you know. Excuse the state of the boot, but that is where my cleaning stuff is. Well, actually you can't see it, but one thing that I actually had to change was, do you know when your car gets dirty, it often comes up the back end of the car, and when you have the salt on the roads in the winter time, it very often rots these number plate lights. What I've done is I've got from eBay, they were £6 or £7, and they're actually cob lights. So there's no bulbs in these at all. It's a fully circuited light, and it's pretty bright and that. And here I have a Roadrunner sticker. And there's something personal about the Roadrunner sticker. I'm going to get back in the car again. I don't particularly like stickers. You know, I like to have the car clean, but I have that Roadrunner sticker at the back. And it's a personal reason. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I used to have a Volkswagen Beetle pedal car, and I used to pedal around the house. We had a lot of little footpaths around our house, so I had plenty of places to play and stuff like that, and I wasn't allowed outside the wall or gate of my house. And my neighbour across the road, she used to have a Toyota Celica. Now this is the 1970s one, and it sort of looked like an American muscle car, and it was white. And I used to look over the wall, and I used to admire this car and the chrome bumpers and the wooden steering wheel. And that was an absolutely beautiful car. It was 1970 something, I can't remember, but it was absolute, and it was a left-hand drive. And I didn't know what kind of car it was, and it was the only one around. So I used to call it the American car, but in fact it was a 1970s Toyota Celica, absolutely beautiful. And I used to pedal my little Volkswagen pedal car around the house, pretending I was driving that car. And as a kid, I wanted one of those cars. Chances are I'm not going to have one now because it's now a classic. But I remembered, you know, as a 3 or 4 year old, you would forget a lot of things in your childhood. There's a lot of things I don't remember, and I don't remember from growing up, but I do remember that car so well. And one of the details that I do remember was the Roadrunner sticker on the back of the car, and that is that, you know, that little sticker that I have on the back of the car, that's memories for me, you know. So that's why I have a Roadrunner sticker at the back of my car, folks. But yes, the last number of weeks hasn't been great, but we are going to get back to it. You know, along with it, there was a lot of anxiety for I don't know what kind of reason, and you know, we all get it, we all have it, and that, and you know, you just have to think that, you know, it is going to get better. Things are going to get better. Now, it wasn't major depression or anything like that. It's just anxiety, you know. But yeah, I mean, like, I grew up with a lot of anxiety, and I've overcome that. I've overcome way more difficult things in my life, believe me. And you know, the one thing that I think helped me over those times, those very difficult times, is actually when somebody says to you, "Are you all right?" Very often people say, "Yeah, I'm grand. Hi, how are you?" "Yeah, I'm fine." I had a habit of being brutally honest and say, "No, I'm not fine. I'm not fine." So, you know, talking to somebody helps. But the other thing is getting to the root of the problem of the anxiety. I don't know what. Yes, I have an idea of some of the reasons why I got anxiety this time, which, yes, put me back a little bit. But we have a great thing coming, you know, we have a great thing with this channel. This channel gets me out of the house. Before I had this channel, I had nothing, just sitting watching television, and actually I had very serious problems with my legs and stuff like that, so I couldn't walk very far. Still can't walk very far, but, you know, I'm better than what I was. But having this channel give me an excuse to go out. And yes, before March last year, I couldn't even edit, so I was just putting up little clips. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The meaning behind it all was I was getting out, I was doing something, and I was learning something new. And you know, I'm so glad I've done it. This channel means an awful lot to me. You know, it really does. And the fact that my subscribers are past 800 now. You know, I was saying to myself, I'm lucky if I'm going to get 200 subscribers here. And the aim was, yeah, let's reach 200. After I get through 100, let's make it to 200 and that. You know, now I don't particularly care about numbers. And the thing was, one thing to be very aware of is burnout. Don't put all your energy into your YouTube channel, otherwise you're going to be sitting at the computer half the night, looking at analytics and stuff like that. The last couple of weeks I had to walk away from the computer. I barely even looked at it. I looked at it yesterday and I seen, God, my subscribers have gone up to 812, and I actually haven't done anything. I put out a Spirit Box session, but just to get out something and to get back into the paranormal a little bit. They're not very popular on my channel, funny enough, but some people do like them. But yeah, for my channel to grow, and I wasn't actually at my best, was you know, I felt very grateful, you know, and I always am grateful for all the people that subscribe to my channel, and I haven't had any problems since I started, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And you know, when I done lives, which I've only done 2, but I will do more. I've done a few big investigations. We have about 6 or 7 now, and I would put them on Premiere, and it would get the community coming together, and they'd be chatting to each other and stuff like that. Everything was grand. The 1 or 2 trolls, you're always going to get trolls anyway. You know, there's always somebody that's going to try and mess up a good thing, you know, and mess up a nice community and stuff like that, and then moderators have to ban them and delete their comments and stuff like that. You're going to get that when you get past 500 or whatever. You're going to get that no matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. But the thing is, don't get upset. Don't get upset from what some of these people do and say. I had one person that told me to go hang myself. Now, I could have been a very vulnerable person, and I could have taken that to heart, and I could have been very, very upset about it. The thing is, I am grateful I am not that person that has that kind of an attitude, and that's the way to look at things, you know. But, you know, I am very, very thankful for all the people that I have in my community as a YouTube channel, and I want to thank you all very, very much. And you know, that doesn't seem to express how grateful I am for what I have on this channel. And big massive thanks to Rachel, who has joined us. She will be joining us over the weekend for the rally, Donegal International Rally weekend. And then we are going to get down to brass tacks, get equipment sorted, get out and start doing investigations again, because yeah, we missed that, you know. Overcoming sickness, anxiety and stuff like that, sitting at home isn't going to make it any different. And yes, going out to investigations was things that made us happy, you know. So we're going to get back to that, you know. You know, and yeah, you know, there's other channels out there bigger than us, and there's other channels out there that knows more than us. But you know, we're in the learning process too. I don't claim to know everything, even though people do ask me advice on spurt boxes and advice on equipment and stuff. I learned it all too. I learned it from the YouTube channels. I just watched everybody's content. I did take a break from paranormal for a little while, watching paranormal stuff, because I've actually watched, you know, in the last year I've been watching non-stop paranormal stuff and not looking at other things in life, you know. So you know, I spent a couple of weeks now watching Mighty Car Mods, which is an Australian channel, and way back in the beginning they were kind of an influence for me to start up a channel. And it wasn't just about the cars. I would have loved to have done a channel about cars, you know, and I've got tools and stuff, and they're still as shiny as the day I bought them, because I can't use them a lot of the time with the problems I have in the joints in my fingers and stuff like that. I'd be trying to unscrew bolts, and then the spanner would just slip out of my hand. It is frustrating, but if I can't do it, I can't do it. I get somebody else to do it. Yes, I have to pay money, but you know, the reason why we started doing this paranormal stuff is because I can do it, and I had to work way around. But the reason why Mighty Car Mods was so special to me is you had two friends that started off a channel working on crappy little cars out in their driveway of their house, and the way they interacted with each other, the humour, the jokes, and the way to film as well. It's just absolutely fantastic, and they've grown from working on cars on their driveway to working in a real workshop and working on better cars and stuff. And to me, even if you weren't 100% interested in cars, it's just the humour. And they went on to develop two other channels, which was Mighty Car Mods 2 and the Skid Factory, which had other people in it, like Mechanical Stig and a few people like that. And then had the Unicorn Circuit, where they would have car news and my crap car and a couple of different segments and that. And the way they would sit on the couch, and the two of them would talk to the camera, and just the way it just all fitted together was absolutely brilliant. And I thought, this is absolutely brilliant, and they're just going to be huge, and I think they are, But yeah, I'm blabbering on a bit, but I will see you over the weekend sometime. And people that are not interested in cars, fear not, because we are planning we're planning a comeback with some great locations, and hopefully new methods of investigating. Me and Rachel have had conversations, and we do have these conversations now and again. How do we change this? How do we, you see a lot of investigations. They go, let's start, we'll do a spurt box, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll use this app, then we'll do this, then we do this. I think what we need to do is go with our instincts, get a feel for the place. I know it doesn't... you don't get those feelings on camera and stuff like that. I think it needs more of a kind of a natural flow, if you know what I mean. And it needs doing things the way you want to do them, and not copying other channels and the way they do things. Yes, get information from them, get influence from them, but then do your own thing as well. And what we need to see in the paranormal is people going outside the box and thinking up of new things, new ways of investigating, because we've been investigating the same for a long time. Yes, we get results, but what do we do with those results to make the evidence more credible? You know, when you think about the scientific community, none of the evidence that we got can be proven by the scientific community, because when you think about it, most of our equipment is actually flawed. You know, a spurt box, you're scanning through a random radio stations. It's like a wheel. It's like a lotto wheel. And it's the same with an awful lot of pieces of equipment. It's not scientifically proven. But the question is, what do we do with these pieces of equipment? How do we take the next step? That's what's been on my mind for a long time, you know. But yeah, this I'm changing from paranormal to the cars. Thought I was going to talk about the paranormal and then talk about cars, or vice versa. But I'm going from one to the other. But that's the way I talk. But what I'm going to be doing with this car is make me fall in love with driving again. yeah, what we're gonna do is I'm hoping that I would have this car. I know it's a lot to achieve, but in some way make this car different, make this car almost like a show car by next year, this time next year. Will it be achieved? I hope so, you know. Yeah. And in the meantime, I have a lot of learning to do, because I have disengaged myself from cars for a long time. This was, you know, way back years ago. What I used to do is I used to go to car shows and I used to take photos and stuff, and I've had some absolutely fantastic show cars photographed and stuff like that. And what I used to do as well is I used to put way back in the 90s, they used to have they used to rip out the back seats and boots and stuff, and they used to fill it full of speakers and amplifiers and that. It's not a thing now. It's more sort of practical and, you know, the speed and individuality as well. But you know, way back in the 90s, it was all about it was all about body kits and sound. The show cars were, and the underbody lights. Now these are coming back, you know. So maybe the stereos will come back. But I used to be involved with the installs with those, putting in amplifiers and big massive speakers and stuff like that. So you know, I was engaged with the car scene back then, and kind of started getting back to it now, with my individual car, which people don't modify, and that was me all along, you know. I would take a car that nobody else would bother modifying and doing that, like the Nissan Micros and stuff like that, you know. But I'm gonna go, because my card is flashing on and off. I must be on here for ages. I will see you over the weekend, and we will be getting back to paranormal investigations very, very soon. And enjoy the rally weekends if you're going, and enjoy the rally videos if you are into those. There's some cool cars over the weekend, and then we will be getting back to investigations. So I'll see you in the next video, folks.